Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm having a pretty good day. I spent some time outside. It's at least 50 degrees, I'm thinking. So, yeah, feeding the kitties and yeah, got some pretty good shots of that woodchuck. So, yeah, a lot of wildlife around here. So, this one just happens to live in the yard and isn't really too afraid of anything. So, excuse me. Um, yeah. So, I don't know what's on my mind today. Not too much. I listened to some music my oldest son had shared. Some of it I can relate to. It's rap. It's on my Facebook page if you want to see it. And, um, one I had shared to Doug's group just for him that I didn't share with everybody. It's like, yeah, nah, it was a little too radical for any message I would want to send, except for one part of it. So it's like, yeah, you know. Anyway, yeah, it's not my favorite type of music, although I am a Eminem fan. Um, some of his songs, not like everything, and that's for most people too. They have their good and bad songs. you know. And that goes to say too, even with my son, there might be certain parts of it he just loves and parts that he's not so much. But yeah, um, I could have probably related to it more in my teens, or maybe um, being a young single mom, maybe about at that era in my life, or when my ex lied to the courts to get his sons to get out of child support. So, yeah, had the kids lie too. It's like, wow. Yeah, they have, of course, asked my forgiveness for everything. And of course, I forgave him before it even happened because I saw what was happening clearly. The destruction or the assumed or presumed, pre planned destruction of my sons with God in their hearts, you know? So the taking what's totally, totally innocent and precious and raised in such a clean manner that I wanted for them and strived to do to presumably uh, uh, better monetarily existence for them that turned out to well, every step of the way since either one of my kids were born, and probably yours too, was preconditioned and pre-planned for their destruction. So I'm sure I'm not alone in that, you know. But if you raised your kids to be leaders and they're beat down at every turn, um, they may not know that I've lived my life like that, but um, maybe someday they'll realize that, that yes, I went through that. I know what that feels like, you know, to make the decision too. Am I gonna bow to Satan and say, yeah, I'll take your riches of this world? Or I'm gonna let you keep beating my head in until the day I drop dead. Well, that's why I take it on a personal level with people that are psychopathic and narcissistic and that type of thing. It's like I love people on their level. You get what you give. You know, if somebody's semi shady with me, I won't be semi shady to them. I'll just say, hey, I can't prove nothing, but I just flat ass don't like you. Bye. Or whatever comes out of my mouth. You know, Doug knows this too. We've been out in public. He had encountered it yesterday, but I've been out in public and had people look down their nose at me, and I just look right at them and I'll say, dink or bitch or whatever comes out of my mouth, you know, depending on the people around too, not little kids. But yeah, I've been known to do that, speak my mind, you know, that's kind of just something I do. I mean, I'm usually quiet when I go out in public and I'm very polite, don't get me wrong, and I'm out really terribly friendly. So it's just like one of those don't rain on my parade type of moments. You can join the parade, that's what it's all about, but just don't rain on it. Oh, that's why I was watching Robin's Hood last night, and that's in my last video. I put a link to a video that he did that some of you can probably relate to. Excuse me. So well, anyway, uh he showed this pastor named Skip Herzog, which is pretty good. He really is. I only got one thing against him. No, I not really. It's his skinny jeans. No, he's tall, and he's in pretty good shape for being an older dude. So yeah, I can understand his logic. You know, he dresses nice. He does. I just kind of sort of picking on him. But anyway, um, yeah, a little baggier pants looks a little better on just about everybody, I think. So that's just my opinion. Unless you have yoga pants on and that's the style, and you have a cute top like to go with that or something like that. I can see that, but guys wouldn't look too cool in that if you get my gist. But anyway, so that's just my opinion. Well, anyway, to get back to the point, then he shows this Calvinist preacher that I do know that they have in their church where certain levels for women and children, as far as women can definitely not minister to a man. If that were the case, there'd be a lot of lost men in my life. But, that's this dude in that church, that's their opinion, you know. And trust me, if I didn't have to take the time to tell a gentleman or leader, it's different friends are on here or what I'm doing like in that respect. But to get up in front of a congregation I would gladly let the leader of a man's house, the father, representation of the father, not of the other half, but of the masculinity of the situation, that would be welcomed to me. But I have rarely been in the position where I can appreciate hearing anything out of too many people, male or female. So to find good leaders in a religious respect, that's why I just talk on a certain level. And if I find somebody that I think really has the spirit and they're talking my language, I can hear it. So that's all I'm saying. So, and I watched a really good um, documentation on mushrooms and Christianity that the tribe of Dan, the 13th bloodline, did the day before. So I think I will uh, put that link in this video for you. It's really informative. It's like 44 minutes long or something around there. You might have heard a lot of it before, maybe not. And well, I've loved mushrooms all my life, but I'm allergic to them. But yeah, I've hunted mushrooms and fed my family like that. So, you know, homemade cream of mushroom soup and all kinds of, which I still do eat mushrooms on a rare occasion. But yeah, I like them. But anyway, so I'll put that information on some of the symbolism through Christianity and different things that were discovered and what the Freemasons have always known. I'm convinced of that. Or maybe not the Freemasons, but the Masonic orders in general, that I would agree not all are totally dirty intended in any respect. I'm sure there's certain people out in this world, because I see more things coming to light that only they could bring out into the light. And those would be ones that were actually brave enough to just say, either as a group or even individuals, that the truth needs to be known. And that's where I didn't give my adopted dad enough credit. I did not, for what him and his friend taught me. I really didn't. But going back on the mushrooms and psilocybins or psychedelic or whatever it was, there was one time, some of you know, I told you about think it was a ritual, I'm not sure, but there was some kind of juice or something they gave me, and then everything was like all crazy looking back at it, because as a young adult I had done mushrooms a few times. um Looking back at it, when I was a kid, I connected the feeling just today that I think that's what they had put in that drink when I was 12. That was crazy. A crazy day. I'll repeat it again someday, just not right this second. Some of you know, it's just weird. It's weird. It's so crazy. The truth doesn't even sound believable. That's how crazy it is. You know. So, and then there's people that I know that actually know the truth, and I say it right in front of them, and they know it, but won't even acknowledge it. Not really. Or they'll say they know, and there's nothing, it doesn't go any deeper. There's no um, validation through the shit I've been through. Like, nothing, like, I mean, God takes care of me. Don't get me wrong like that. And I know I have bigger rewards to come for being that strong. But it doesn't make it any easier on a day to day basis, actually, being in a human vessel and dealing with people's shit. Because um, mushrooms have to eat something. Wow. Anyway, we have quite a few mushrooms in our yard usually, and there's a lot of them that grow in the woods. And um, I've been every spring, just I gave up after a while, but in my state, supposedly in the spring, as the snow is melting by the creeks and in ditches, there's supposed to be giant puffballs. They'll probably use that for part of my, just these YouTube people. Anyway, um, and they're supposed to be like a edible choice mushroom that you can slice like a steak and either grill it or fry it or do dice it up, do whatever you want with it. But and most puffballs you can't eat, but these ones are edible. And there's other ones that are edible that are okay until they dry out, and then the puffy ink that's in the middle of it is poisonous. So there's some things like that that you have to cook first, and then they're edible. Um, with wild edibles, some you can eat raw, you know, some you can't. Some mushrooms you can't eat them raw because of the little micro critters that are in there. You have to soak them in salt water, depending on the shape of the mushroom, and if it's one that has like a sponge on the back, and that's what they're called, a sponge or a glutinous sponge mushroom. They're edible, but you should soak them in salt water first. They're not really pretty like for a salad or um fried mushrooms or anything, but they're good like to make a soup out of or something like that. But yeah, this time of year, the ferns that grow, there's I haven't made them, but they're supposed to be like asparagus. I have asparagus, but when they first start forming, they have these little fronds on the end that are shaped like a snail. And if you cut them off and you can steam them, and they're kind of like I say, like asparagus or that type. A lot of people just fry them real quick in butter and salt and pepper and eat them. Or you can cream them or stir fry them, I've heard, you know. So, and I imagine you could pickle them, you know, dry it, dehydrate it, and make it into a powder because it would be nutritious, you know. So, yeah, if I was in hard times, um, I would dry a lot of stuff and smoke it and salt it and pickle it, depending on what it was, or just eat it. I tried drying mushrooms in my dehydrator, and that was, even the smell of it was pretty gross. And I tasted a little piece of one when it was done. It's like concentrated mushroom. Nah, I'm out on that one. And I'm suppose you can make like a tea or a soup or throw it in some soups or something, and it would have been good and stuff. But I didn't have any kids in the house when I tried that experiment, and it's like, ugh, no. I'd rather just have a mushroom. So, yeah. So I heard some circuit court judge or some of Florida denied all the mask mandates. It just struck it down. Um, so if people don't want to wear one, they don't have to wear one. You know. So yeah, it's time for this baloney to freaking end. You know. I'm convinced the sickest people on the planet are covering their faces. You know. And it is a fetish. It's like they feel like they're part of something special, you know. It's like you never got sick before. And if you're dead, you're still here. But if you want to wear your mask, I mean, that's okay. I can't see your pretty little face, but or giant ugly one, whichever the case may be, or a mix of both. you know, but that's the way it is then. I suppose for the people that wear makeup, it's either one of two things: cheaper for them because they don't have to make up the whole thing, or more expensive because every time they put that on, it smears it and they got to redo it. That's probably closer to the truth of the vanity of it all. you know. So, yeah. Well, I am gonna make that turkey today. It's still just fine. So, but it does have to be cooked for 2 hours. It's in a pouch that you just put slits in and cook it in the oven. It said Doug read it wrong, but um uh it said from freezer to oven in like 10 minutes because you don't have to thaw it. It's like, but I just had it in the refrigerator thawing out for a couple days and it'll be fine. And then you cook it for 2 hours from freezer to oven. So it'll be about an hour, a little over an hour, and it'll be done because it's already thawed. But, you know, I told Doug, well, it doesn't say already cooked, you know. I said that'd be like pizzas if they didn't have, if they didn't have, or, people eating raw pizzas. Maybe some of them do say already cooked. I doubt it though. The meat might have been that's put on there. I think a lot of them are pre cooked or cured. But, um, but I got them on one thing. We have these Hershey bars, the giant ones, that have 25 squares. They just started making this. Okay, now this is crazy. And I told them, um, it okay, let's see, what was it? 4 times 6 is 24. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it says new bigger candy bar, 25 pieces. Where's the extra one come in as a whole? So that's false advertising. And I told him this new wrapper has been bugging me for 3 months. you know, last time he brought some home, I was going to say something, and it's like, this is just not, that's false advertising. If there's 24 pieces, how can they say they're 25 if they're counting the whole thing as a whole? You know, that'd just be saying, well, I don't know. I don't have a correlation for it because it isn't logical. There's rows of so many and it doesn't add up, you know? Or wait, now, hold it. Yeah, 4 times 6 is 24. No matter how I look at it. So, yeah, it drives me nuts. And it is. They're liars. It's false advertising. New, bigger bar. It's not any bigger. They might have put a little more weight in it. Maybe a 10 millimeters of a gram or something. But there's only 24 little pieces in there. They're tiny, they're chunks, about half-inch chunks, you know? And there's a row of 4 times 6. Dang it, anyway. I don't like when that happens. It's a lie. So, anyway, I got him on that one, you know? Doug, that is, you know? Because I don't know. I mean, it's not a big deal about the turkey because I didn't want it anyway for Easter. So I might have if I had like some pre warning, but you know. So. Well, I'm gonna let you go and get this uploaded, and thank you for joining me. I'm going to put that well, what I called it when I passed it around on Facebook was Jesus was a mushroom, but and I've always thought mushrooms were alien, also. Maybe not all of them, but maybe, because I used to have either nightmares or premonitions of giant mushrooms, and I didn't, to my knowledge, have any psychedelic mushrooms when I was having these thoughts, either in my sleep or awake. I can't remember. So, but okay, thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night or day wherever you're at.